Hello guys, good evening. This is Seychelle and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching all my videos regarding the US visa processing. I know that there are some problems regarding our immigration as of this moment, but I would just like to share with you some knowledge on how are we going to immigrate to the United States of America. In this video, I will be talking about the process and how are we going to go and live in the United States using any family-based petition. So if you're interested in this video, just keep on watching. Okay, but if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, click on the subscribe button down below and also hit like if you like this video, and click also on the notification bell for all the videos that I will be going to be posted in the future. Stay watching guys. Thank you so much. Okay guys, so let us now talk about the family immigration as stated at the US government website, which is the travel.state.gov. Okay, so that is the Bureau of the Consular Affairs website of the United States. So we're just going to talk about how a family-based immigration happens. Okay, so this happens when a foreign citizen is seeking to live permanently in the United States. Okay, they required what we call the immigrant visa. Okay, to be eligible to apply for an immigrant visa, a foreign citizen must be sponsored by an immediate relative who is at least 21 years of age and is either a US citizen or a lawful permanent resident or the holder of a green card. Okay, and there are two types of family-based immigrant visa. Number one is the immediate relative. Okay, so if you've watched my previous video, I already defined there what is the meaning of immediate relative. Okay, so these are the visas that are based on a close family relationship with a US citizen, such as a spouse, child, or parent. The number of immigrant visas in this category is not limited each fiscal year. Okay, number two is the family preference, and these visas are for specific, more distant family relationship with a US citizen or some specified relationship with a lawful permanent resident. Okay, the number of immigrants in this category is limited each fiscal year. Okay, so keep in mind that US citizens can file an immigrant petition for their spouse, son or daughter, parent, and brother or sister. Okay, so only a US citizen can do that. Okay, but a lawful permanent resident or a green card holder can do petition his or her immediate relative. Okay, and those immediate relatives are the spouse and the unmarried son and daughters. So let us now discuss the immigrant visa process. Okay, so in the travel.state.gov website, there is actually 12 steps on how are you going to apply for an immigrant visa. Okay, so number one is you need to submit a petition, and then number two is the NVC processing. Number three is the payment of the fees. Number four is the Affidavit of Support. Number five is the financial documents. Number six is online application. Number seven is the civil document submission. Number eight is scanning of the documents. Number nine, submission of the documents. Number 10, interview preparation. Step 11, applicant interview. And then lastly, what happens after the interview. So those are the immigrant visa process, or the steps that you need to do for you to be able to get an immigrant visa. Okay, so let's now first discuss how are you going to submit a petition. Okay, the US citizens and lawful permanent residents petitioners that are residing in the United States must file a Form I-130, or the Petition for Alien Relative, with the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, or the USCIS. This can be done either electronically or through the traditional paper process through the mail. Okay, so how are you going to file a petition if you are outside or you are inside the United States? The US citizen and lawful permanent resident sponsors residing in the United States might also file a Form I-130 or the petition for alien relative. Again, also with the USCIS Chicago Lockbox Facility, following instructions on the USCIS website. Okay, and the US employer must file the Form I-140 or the petition for the alien worker, but that is not actually a family-based petition, since it's these are for the employer. So if you are applying for a family visa, you need to, for example, you are the petitioner, you need to file or submit a Form I-130 or the petition for an alien relative. Okay, and while most immigrant visa petitions are filed in the United States, filing certain types of petition outside the United States is also possible, but we are going to discuss that in the other videos. Okay, now your immigrant petition will be approved by the USCIS before your case can go to the NVC. So the first step is the USCIS, and then the next stage is the NVC processing. Okay, so after USCIS approves your petition, they will transfer your case to the Department of State's National Visa Center for pre-processing. The first step in this processing is the creation of your case in their system. Okay, so once that is complete, they will send you a welcome letter by email or by physical mail. Okay, with the information in the letter, you can log into the Consular Electronic Application Center, or what we call the CEAC, to check the status, receive message, and manage your case. Okay, so once you submit your fees, forms, and supporting documents to the NVC, they are going to review your case to ensure that you provide all the documentation that is required for them to schedule an immigrant visa interview for you. Okay, the interviews are based on the availability of appointments offered at the embassy or the consulate. Okay, so for you to be able to know if your application is current, you need to check the visa bulletin. Okay, so I've already talked about the visa bulletin, and I'm going to share with you the link here, and also down below in the description box, for you to be able to know what is your current or if your priority date is already current. So after your case was already processed in the NVC, they are going to ask you to pay for the fees, and that is your step 3. The first thing that you need to do after you have received your welcome letter is to pay your processing fees. Okay, and there are 2 processing fees. Number 1 is the immigrant visa application processing fee, and number 2 is the affidavit of support fee. So this step should be done by both the petitioner and the applicant. Okay, so you will need a bank routing number and checking or savings account number from a US based bank. Okay, so basically who's gonna pay for this visa processing fees are your petitioner if they are already in the United States. Okay, because it needs the bank routing number and a savings account in the United States. Okay, so for you to be able to pay your fees, you need to log into your case in SEAC. You need your case number and your invoice number for you to be able to log in to that system, and you just need to click on the Pay Now button under the Affidavit of Support fee on the summary page. Okay, please note that you cannot pay these 2 fees simultaneously. The online system will ask you to pay them one at a time. Okay, so after you have submitted your payments online, you need to allow up to 1 week for NVC to process your fees before you go ahead and continue on to the next step. Okay, you cannot do anything on your SEAC page if the NVC has not processed the fees yet, or they have not accepted your payments yet, and you will not be able to access the DS 260 form until your NVC has already processed the payment. Okay, step 4 is the affidavit of support, and this is should be done by your petitioner. Okay, So an affidavit of support is also called the Form 1864, which is a document an individual signs to accept financial responsibility for the applicant who is coming to live in the United States. The person signs the affidavit of support is also called the sponsor or the petitioner. Okay, he or she must complete the Form I-864. Okay, but however, if the petitioner's income is insufficient, a joint sponsor may also agree to also complete an I-864 on the applicant's behalf. Okay, an affidavit of support is legally enforceable. The sponsor's financial responsibility usually lasts until the applicant either become a US citizen or can be credited with 40 qualifying quarters of work. Okay, that usually is 10 years under the Social Security Act. Okay, so by signing the Form I-864, the petitioner or the joint sponsors is agreeing to use their resources if necessary to financially support the beneficiary and any dependents. Okay, so if the beneficiary and the dependents receive any designated federal, state, or local means tested public benefits under the U.S. law, the agency providing the benefit shall request reimbursement from the signatory of the I-864. Okay. So in general, the petitioner must complete an affidavit of support form and then gather evidence of their finances and supporting documents. Okay. Okay, so after they have already submitted or filled out the Form I-864, they are now going to collect financial evidence and other supporting documents for that affidavit of support. Okay, they should gather evidence of their finances and other supporting documents that are required of by the NVC, and they can also check those requirements at the travel.state.gov website. Okay, but please remember that each financial sponsor must submit an affidavit of support as well as evidence of their finances and other supporting documents. And failure to do so can further delay the processing of the case. Right, so after the petitioner has already submitted their affidavit of support and their supporting documents regarding their income, the next step or step 6 is to complete the online visa application or the DS-260, which should be done by the applicant. Okay. So, but by the way, please note that the Department of State is aware of a system error that is preventing some portion of the SEAC users from viewing your SEAC messages. So if ever you encounter such error, you just need to contact NVC at nvc.state.gov/inquiry to learn the contents of that messages. So they are already working to correct that error. So if, for example, there is an update and you cannot see that in your SEAC, in the messages part of SEAC, then you just need to contact NVC at nvc.state.gov/inquiry. Okay, so now after you pay your fees and the status in the SEAC is already paid, you just and you already also added, for example, you have some family member that is migrating with you as well, and you add an applicant aside from the principal applicant, and you've already also paid for all their visa fees, then you need to complete the application for the immigrant visa and alien registration form, or as I've told you, the DS-260. Okay, so to complete your application for immigrant visa and alien registration, you just need again to log into SEAC, and then you can see that there is a button that says start now under the IV application on your summary page. Okay, and then submitting form the DS-260 does not formally execute a visa application. The visa application is not formally made until a visa applicant is already interviewed by the U.S. consular officer. Okay, so after you submit your DS-260 form, you must print the confirmation page and bring that to your interview. Okay, you can print the form from the SEAC anytime after you complete your GS260 application. Okay, so after you have already completed your GS260, you or each of the family member that is immigrating with you must collect the civil documents that is required to support your visa application. Okay, your civil documents must be issued by the officials issuing authority in your country. Okay, so if you want to know what are the different kinds of civil documents that you need to prepare, you can click on the document finder in the travel.state.gov page, okay, for you to be able to know what kind of documents that they are asking you of. Okay, please note that all the documents must be written in English or in the official language of the country from which you are applying, but must be accompanied by the certified translations. Okay, and your translation must include a statement signed by the translator that states the translation is accurate and the translator is competent also to translate. Okay, now if a required document is unavailable per the country-specific guidelines, you do not need to scan the documents into the SEAC. However, if you cannot obtain a required document for another reason, you must submit a detailed written application or explanation to the NVC when you scan your other documents. And then during your visa interview, the consular officer will determine whether you must obtain the missing documents before a visa can be issued to you. Okay, because as a general, any document that is listed as available on the country-specific guidelines must be reviewed by the consular officer. Okay, and failure to obtain all required documents will delay your case. Okay, so some of the documents that you need to prepare is the birth certificates, your police records or your NBI clearance, for example, you're from the Philippines, and then marriage certificates. By the way, marriage certificates and birth certificates should be from the PSA or the Philippine Statistics Office and not the NCO, the NSO anymore. Okay, and your passport and all the other necessary documents that may be deemed important in your application. So once you have already collected all the necessary documents, you must scan and then save them. Okay, for you to be able to scan the documents, you will need access to the computer and a scanner or a smartphone with an internet connection that can do scanning. Okay, if you do not have access to this, common places with this type of equipment are libraries, community centers, internet cafes, and coffee shops. Okay, but if you going to use public computer, be sure to delete the scanned documents once you have finished uploading them. Okay, and unless specifically directed for you to do so by the NVC, please do not email or please do not mail any documents to them. Okay, if you do, it will delay your processing and you may risk losing any of the documents that you have already sent it. Okay, so in order to ensure that your case does not experience delay in processing, you just need to follow the guidelines when scanning your documents. Okay, so what are the requirements? It should be single file, size, and type. Okay, so after file types, the acceptable file types includes PDF, so that is what NVC preferred, or JPEG or .jpg. Okay, and each individual file must not be longer or not be larger than 2 megabytes. Okay, scan and upload your multiple page documents such as your 1864 as one file, and if the document is more than 2 MB, you can just also compress your file. Okay, zipped files, modifiable PDFs, or password protected files are not accepted. Okay, and your image quality must be good. Your scans must be in color. Okay, and then include the back and the back side, the front and the back side of any document that has stamps, seals, or writing on the back. Okay, and it should include a certified translation of your document with your original document in a single file. Please note that translation is not required for documents in the language of the country where your visa interview will take place. And be clear, easily seen and read, and no parts of the documents should be cut off. Okay, and also it should be oriented so it can be read across the screen without the need to rotate the document. Okay. Okay, now after you have already scanned all your documents, you just need to upload and submit them. Okay, so that is step 9. Okay, by the way, it is important to know that you know that you do not need to send the documents to NVC again by mail. Okay, however, you must bring every civil document you uploaded and submitted with your application to your visa interview. Please take note of that. Okay, now for you to be able to submit documents, you just need to log into SAYAC again, and then click on the Start Now button located under the Affidavit of Support documents and civil documents. When you have already uploaded all the required documents for each section, just press on the Submit Documents. The Submit Documents button will not work unless you have uploaded all of the required documents for each person. Okay, once you press Submit Documents, your case will be placed in line in review at the NVC. Okay, and for you to be able to determine which cases the NVC is currently reviewing, just go and click on the NVC time frames page again at the travel.state.gov website of the NVC, and that is on the right navigation bar. Okay, once NVC reviews your case, you are going to receive any correction or an email that your application is already documentarily completed, or you have already submitted all the required documents by the NVC. So now that you have already submitted all the documents and you have already the email from the NVC that your application is already documentarily qualified, you are now going to go on to step 10, which is the preparation for the interview. Okay, so after the National Visa Center schedules your visa interview appointment, they will send you, your petitioner or your attorney, an email noting the appointment date and time. So after you receive an interview appointment letter from NVC, you must take the following steps before the interview date. Okay, number 1, you need to schedule and complete a medical examination. Okay, you and each family member or derivative applicant applying for the visa with you are required to schedule a medical appointment with an authorized physician in the country where you will be interviewed. Okay, this exam must be with an embassy-approved doctor, also referred to as the panel physician. Okay, exams conducted by other physicians will not be accepted. Okay, you must complete your medical examination along with any required vaccinations before your scheduled visa interview date. Okay, so after your exam, the panel physician will either send the exam results directly to the embassy or give you a sealed envelope. Okay, if the doctor gives you an envelope, do not open it. Instead, bring it to your visa interview and give it to the consular officer. Okay, and then after you have scheduled and completed your medical examination, you need to register for courier service or the pre-interview instructions. And then next, you just need to gather the documents that are required for your interview. So basically all the documents that you have already sent in the SAYAC. Okay, and if you, for example, fail to bring all those items, that will also again delay your visa issuance. So you need to be always ready and have all the documents with you when you're going to your interview. And then lastly, the public charge questionnaire, or the DS-5540, and that also may be asked of you, the public charge questionnaire and the supporting evidence at the time of the interview. Okay. Okay, we're now down to step 11, which is the applicant interview. Okay, prior to the interview schedule, ensure that you have followed the U.S. Embassy or consulate interview preparations examples or instructions that are also located in the travel.state.gov website. Okay, so on your scheduled date, you just need to go to the U.S. Embassy or the consulate with your printed visa application or your DS-260 confirmation page. A consular officer will interview you, accompanying also your family member beneficiaries, and determine whether or not you are eligible to receive an immigrant visa. So as part of the interview process, ink-free digital finger scans will also be taken. Okay, so it's important that you should not make any permanent financial decision or commitment, such as selling your car, your house or property, resigning from a job, or making other travel arrangements until you have received your immigrant visa. Okay, so who must attend the interview? You, your spouse, or any qualified unmarried children immigrating with you must participate in the interview. Okay, all the traveling applicants required to participate will be named on the interview appointment letter you receive at the NVC. Okay, so what do you need to bring to your interview? Okay, number one is your appointment letter. That is the interview appointment letter you receive from NVC. Your passport for each of the applicant, which is not expired, or it should be valid for 6 months beyond the intended date of entry into the US. And then the photographs, or the two identical photographs of each applicant, that is the 2x2 or the visa size photo, and then the DS-260 confirmation page and all other supporting documents that you uploaded in the SEA. Okay, and if, for example, you fail to appear in your interview, you need to contact the US Embassy or the consulate as soon as possible. If you do not contact them within a year of receiving your interview appointment letter, your case may be terminated and your immigrant visa petition will be canceled, and all the fees that you paid will not be refunded anymore. Okay, so if you need to reschedule your interview, you just need to go to the embassy or the consulate, or you can call them or email them, or write them a letter regarding your plan to reschedule your interview. Okay, so after the interview, you are now going to know if you are approved or denied of a visa. Okay, so if your visa is approved, they are going to inform you of how are you going to get your passport and your visa. Okay, and your visa will be placed in your passport. They are going to print the visa there, and you just need to review the printed information to make sure that there are no errors in your name or any other information that you have there in the visa. Okay, so what do you need to do before you travel? You must pay the USCIS immigrant fee to the USCIS after you receive your immigrant visa and before you travel to the United States. Only children who enter the United States under the orphan or Hague adoption programs are free or exempted from this fee. Okay, please know that USCIS will not issue your permanent residence card until you have paid that fee. Okay, so when should you travel if you have already passed, or if you already have an approved visa? You must arrive in and apply for admission to the United States no later than the visa expiration date printed on your visa. Okay, an immigrant visa usually is valid for up to 6 months from the date of issuance, unless your medical examination expires sooner, which may take your visa valid for less than 6 months. Okay, so when traveling to the United States, the primary applicant must enter before or at the same time as derivatives, family members with visas. The visa do not guarantee your entry into the United States. The Department of Homeland Security or the U.S. Customs and Border Protection officials have the authority to grant or deny your admission. Okay, and when you're already in the U.S., you need to know more about how to be a lawful permanent resident. Okay, and also you need to you need also to have your social security number. Okay guys, so that concludes your 12 steps on how are you going to apply for a US visa using a family-based petition. So I hope you guys learned something a lot from this video, and again, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please just click on the subscribe button, and if you like this video, just click on the like button, and just also click on the bell notification ring for more videos that I will be posting in the next few days. Thank you so much for watching guys. Take care. Bye.